Hey everybody, I am Brian Goulet.
And I'm Drew Brown.
And we are here from GouletPens.com to present to you the hottest fountain pens of 2022. Now, we first started doing this annual roundup thing 7 years ago, I believe, back in 2016.
I came in a little later.
I kicked it off, you joined on. I would say you added to the flavor. But, here we are to talk about what are the hottest pens, basically ones that we've launched, but we got some other ones that we'll give some honorable mentions.
We are back
to.
in the office.
We are.
It's been 3 years.
3 years we had to do this remotely. So we're excited to be doing this again. We're going to start off with the things that are more kind of like room temperature, and we're going to move on to like the scalding hot pens that you can barely touch. So be sure to watch all the way through because we're going to get hotter and hotter as we go along. And without further ado, here we go.
All right, the first one we're going to talk about is the Pilot Custom 912, which, Brian, that's my favorite pen.
It's not a new pen.
No, it's not. But you know what they did?
Why is it on this list?
Because
it's not new.
They dropped a whole mess of nib sizes on the U.S. market.
Oh, that's right, they did, yeah.
A ton.
This is just what added like 7 nibs.
Right, there's like 15 nibs on this thing now. It's
so
insane.
Nibs. Yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely the pen with the most nib options that we carry.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. Pilot doesn't often do this. And these are pens that have long been available in Japan, but now the US market has them, and they are some really fun ones. So joining the super fun FA nib, again, my favorite, were nibs like the Waverly, the postable nib. Yeah.
Posting or postable? I can never remember which one it's called.
I think it's posting.
Okay.
But there were a lot of fun ones in there, and a lot of them were nibs that you just can't find on other pens, not in the US anyway. So that was a big deal, and I think a lot of people got excited about that. The pen itself is still just kind of a plain black pen, but it's now compensating for potential lack of pizzazz visually with a lot of pizzazz in the writing performance department.
All right, this next one I think is kind of took me by surprise a little bit. This is the Sailor Knight to E4.
This one was a
the
surprise.
Pro Gear model. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, chess, sure.
Cool.
It makes sense. You got the whole Queen's Gambit, which I think, got chess a little more popularized in the mainstream, I guess. I hadn't seen it at the time. I have seen it since. And now I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I played chess as a kid, and now like my kids want to play chess.
You're back on the horse.
I'm kind of into it, yeah. Oh,
because it's got
that just happened. That was natural.
It has the medallion up on top of the finial is a knight. Well, technically not. It's a horse.
It's a horse. It's called the knight.
It's the knight.
The knight piece. I still don't understand why it's not called the horse. But anyway, so it's. I like this pen. It's very classy. It's not like punch you in the face like I am a chess themed pen. They could have done that. Right. It's pretty subtle, which I think is actually quite classy. I love the resin on this. It's a black resin with a very, very fine shimmer to it. I think it looks really nice. Sailor's done this sporadically on other pens in the past. I think it always looks really good. So I like that vibe. It's got a metal grip, which they don't do a lot. They usually have resin grips. Yeah. And the bicolored nib, it looks so good.
You are a sucker for a bicolored nib.
I really am a sucker for bicolored nibs, especially Sailors. They just do them so good. So all in all, it's a little more expensive than their other pens and their other Pro Gears, just a little bit, but I think given some of the extra features and stuff, it's totally justifiable. It is a limited edition pen, so it's not something that they're going to have available forever, but we still have it as of this video. I think it came out in June, so 6-month run so far. We'll see how long it goes, but if you're interested, go check it out.
All right, counting down our list, the next one is the Conklin Endura Deco Crest fountain pen. And this came out in 3 colors, but it wasn't just the colors that were impressive. It was the fact that this was a pen with an overlay. And this is something that we don't see very often in modern times, but something that is indicative of Conklin's storied history within the industry. Conklin's
definitely a throwback.
Yeah, Conklin's like 125 years old. They've been doing stuff for a while, and they used to do these overlay pens, and this is kind of a tribute to Conklin of yore. So they did 3 different colors in this. An orange one, a black one, and a blue one. The orange one was the most popular.
Yeah, which makes sense, especially with the overlay because you get a lot of contrast.
Yes.
And I like the black and the orange kind of combo with that. It just looks really, really stunning.
It does look really cool.
But the blue, of course, I love blue. I think it looks awesome, but it's a little more, I don't know. I don't want to say subtle because it's not really subtle at all, but to me, the orange and black pops more.
These pens certainly were not subtle, but they were popular. They definitely struck a chord with the industry and the fandom and ended up being Conklin's I think Conklin's hottest pen of the year for sure.
So this next one is the Sailor 1911S 5th anniversary limited edition Minori. So this was the 5th anniversary of the Shikiori collection. And this like kind of represents to me what I am just kind of continually baffled by with Sailor's pen designs. They seem to put colors and materials together where I'm like, how does this work? Like if I were to just come up and explain, I think I would like to put a translucent kind of a mint color in the body with a green grip and then a clear cap with gold flakes. You'd be like, Brian, are you feeling okay? Like,
nobody would want that pen, right?
But they somehow put it together and make it work. And they've done this with a bunch of other pens too. They've done it with like the Christmas pudding and some other things. Like they've come out with a number of pens where there's just wildly different colors in different sections, but they somehow make it all work.
Yeah. Now that's also what made the 90E4 a little bit different. You know, that one was a little bit more subtle, but this one represents kind of the success that Sailor found overall throughout the year with a bunch of different pens by somehow making these seemingly crazy color combinations really work and really jive with people.
Yeah, now this one was also kind of a limited edition one, and so it's not available anymore at the end of the year here. They all sold out, but it was certainly popular earlier this year, and you know, it's continues on with Sailor's special pen popularity.
So you might remember that TWSBI released an Eco in
have they done that?
Jade green.
Jade green, yes.
And
I remember
a lot of people were like, ooh, does this glow
does
in the dark?
Because it looks like it should glow.
It kind of did. It was that type of green. So TWSBI listened, and then they said, okay, hey, guess what? Glow green.
Boom. Right there.
They made it happen.
You want it to glow?
They made it happen.
There's your glow.
Glow in the dark, TWSBI Eco, glow green, kicking things off. And then later, they came out with a glow purple that actually glowed blue. But either way, 2 glow-in-the-dark pens this year, but definitely the glow green is the one we're putting on this list in this spot because it was a bit groundbreaking. There have been glow-in-the-dark pens in the past, not to, shortchange Benu. It's been done, but on an Eco, that was a big deal for sure. And it got into the hands of a lot of people.
Yeah, and the feedback was pretty good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let's be real. Like, you don't need your pen to glow in the dark.
No.
It's not like you're writing in the dark.
No.
And you need your pen to be a flashlight. It doesn't even do it that way. But, it's a gimmick.
Yes.
It's just
but
kind
it was
of a fun, weird thing.
Popular gimmick.
But it works.
TWSBI Ecos are already super popular, and this color really made it popular.
All right, so this next one I'm pretty excited about. This was one from Kaweco, which, they've honestly come out with some stronger pens in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And they friggin' nailed it. With this one, this is the Iridescent Pearl Sport.
Yes.
Yeah, like it looks... First off, it looks like way more expensive than it should be, than it is or whatever. But just the colors look awesome. And I think, this Iridescent Pearl describes it actually quite well.
Yeah.
It's a whitish, kind of a pearly color with lots of, pinky kind of green blue range of iridescent kind of color shifting to it.
Very pearly.
Yeah, and it's a little bit translucent as well. It looks really, really good. You would think by the way I'm describing it that would be kind of gaudy, but I think it just works. It's not like loud and in your face, but it definitely looks special.
Yeah, to me it was a big deal because we haven't had a TWSBI Sport, like a resin sport.
Kaweco.
Sorry. Yes.
You always mix those up. You did this last year too, I remember.
Because last year we were talking about the Golden Espresso. Yep. That made the list.
Yep.
A lot of the times their most popular pens are the All Sports.
Yeah.
And this one was a very accessible, very affordable, very wow sport.
Yeah. And it's most of their sports they end up doing are like really flat in color. And it's like, okay, it's nice. But so this one's got so much more depth to it.
It really stood out.
Good. Yeah, and I think it kind of hits on a theme that we saw with a lot of inks this year of this like color shifting, multi-tonal kind of a thing. So I think that there's maybe something going on there that's just like hitting the right frequency. So anyway, this one very clearly was on our list for hottest this year.
Okay, next on our list is one that I was super jazzed about and still am.
Oh yeah.
And let's see, the one we're putting on the list is the Benu Euphoria in Iced Caramel Latte. Mm-hmm. And this was the champ of a trilogy we're calling the Refreshment Collections, which were all exclusive Benus to the Goulet Pen Company, all themed after delicious beverages. Mm-hmm. The the cream of the crop, though, was the iced caramel latte. That thing sold well. People loved it. I love mine. It's just such a great representation.
We're big fans of coffee around here.
Yeah, that's a great pen. The Euphorias have been super popular. Writes well, looks great. We also came out with the Rainbow Slushy Euphoria in that same trilogy, as well as a, what was the third one?
The cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream, yes. Oh my gosh, that one looks exactly like cookies and cream.
Oh yeah.
Like all three of
these. Like a
these.
milkshake.
Oh man, all three of these look delicious, and they are not going to be around forever. I think that we're hoping we'll get some more of the iced caramel latte in, but
that one sold out pretty quickly.
It was.
We did order some more, so they won't be around forever. But that one was definitely the standout. And
super excited, and they're an exclusive, like super hot pens. Not just because
props to Drew. Drew had a heavy hand in making these things happen. So got to give you credit.
Yeah,
they nailed it with these ones.
They're delicious, and so it was very exciting for us. But honestly, it really performed well, and there was a lot of buzz behind it too. So even though they were our exclusive, we're
not biased. We're not biased at all.
No,
I mean,
not
totally
at all.
Not at all.
They were hot. They were super hot. Definitely deserve a spot on this list.
All right. This next one is probably going to be pretty obvious. It is the TWSBI 580 Iris. Now, the 580 is a super popular pen. It's like kind of TWSBI's flagship pen that they're known for. So you can pretty much assume if they do something new in a 580, it's going to be up there as a contender, at least for a hottest pen.
I think the last couple of years we've had a 580. We had the Prussian blue, and then
that one's still strong.
And then the navy blue.
Yeah.
So you're 100% right. Every time they do something crazy. Now this one though
it looks really good.
This is not just a new color.
Well, they did the Iris in the back 700R last year,
and you'll remember
that was on the list.
As soon as that came out, what did people ask?
Oh, people are like, you need to do this on everything, but 580, of course. I would love to see it on the Eco. Maybe we'll be sitting here next year talking about the Eco Iris. That would be amazing. TWSBI, wink, wink. Let's make that happen. But anyway, this looks great. A little pricier, obviously, because of the trim and the nib and all that kind of stuff. But it looks so sharp. And I love the Iris because, the rainbow effect on it looks so good. It doesn't look, I don't know, manufactured. I mean, it is totally manufactured. I don't know the right words to say, but it just looks really crisp. The colors are very vibrant.
Crisp is a good word.
Yeah, the color is very crisp. We try to portray it in images as much as possible, but in person, it's like, it just pops even more.
It's really sharp.
Yeah.
The clip
it's not
well.
too loud either.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, it's just on the center band, the nib, it's like kind of accented with it.
Yeah, and the clip is that same highly polished metal of the rest of the pen. Yeah. The VAC 700 was a different type of metal, so the aesthetic was a bit different. The 580 though, the vibe is just really uniform all the way around. Just exceptional. This one was super obvious.
Taking a great pen, making it even better. Where's to go wrong?
Yeah, we're getting up to the top here. So
hang in there.
From here on, we've got
only getting better.
Strong contenders. Yeah, this one was an obvious win, but the next ones are also big ones.
Oh yeah.
All right, Brian, guess what happened this year?
What happened, Drew?
The Goulet Pen Company got an exclusive LAMY pen.
That is pretty historic.
Right? So let's add the LAMY Vista Black to the hottest pens of 2022 right here, right now, because that is a huge freaking deal, man.
Oh, yeah. Full bias on this one. Yep.
Full bias. But it's a big deal. Come on. This doesn't happen often. And it is a Vista, super popular pen already, but with some nice black hardware, black nib, and an included black converter. I said included black converter.
I've never seen that happen on a...
Converters don't come with these pens, Brian.
They don't.
This is something that you can only get at the Goulet Pen Company.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. We are going to have this pen for quite a while, so don't you worry about that. You can still get it, even if you're watching this video, post-apocalyptic, it's still around. So don't you worry about that. We're here for you.
It's a pretty durable pen. It might actually
we're not going anywhere.
Now, before we get to the number one pick, we got some honorable mentions to drop in here, but it's all stuff worth talking about.
Yes.
Drew and I were talking before we put this list together, and it was like, should we integrate all of the regularly available stuff, or should we only talk about new things for this year? And I was like, well, I'd really love to talk about both. However, if every year we come up with, a true just whatever sold best, we're going to end up talking about the same stuff year over year, because there are some pens that are just stunners, right?
Steadfast.
That stay strong. And we got a few of those to mention. So we'll throw them in here as honorable mentions. Pilot Custom 823. The amber was the most popular color, but the smoke one also quite popular, and you add those two together, you know, it's one of the most popular pens we have by far. LAMY 2000, also up there. Super popular pen. We talk about it all the freaking time, especially in our pencast. And the Pilot Vanishing Point. Honestly, this may be our top pen, but there are so many of them, I didn't feel like doing the math and adding them all up. But, you know, again, and then do you include decimos in there too? Technically, it's a Vanishing Point decimo, but is it really the same? I don't know, whatever, but it's super popular and worth mentioning. That's what I got. How about you, Drew?
Speaking of Pilot, Brian, we mentioned this last year as just like a contender that rose up and, you know, dominated. The Pilot E95S killed it this year, remained super popular, remained a top seller for us week after week. Everybody loves that pen, and for good reason. Yeah. Additionally, we mentioned this in some of the previous entries today, the VAC 700 Iris from TWSBI, still killing it, still going strong. And again, for like the third year in a row, we have to mention the TWSBI 580 in Prussian blue. This thing is just
a good color.
It is just a rock. It is a sturdy rock that people just continue to love. The color is just something special, man. There's really just it's blue, but it's just it's got something to it that people love, and they're still loving it.
Prussianness.
It's the Prussianness, yes. It's the Prussianity of the blue.
There you go.
But it's still killing it, and I fully expect we'll be talking about it next year as well.
Could very well be.
It's going to be around.
All right, Drew, we are here. Without further ado, and without delaying or prolonging.
Oh, you're doing it right
now.
Any
more than is needed. It's time, finally.
Will you please?
We are here together, you and I, united as one, to present to the world our pick for our number one hottest pen for the year of 2022. This day, it is time to present and announce. I'm really dragging it on. It is the Sailor Pro Gear and Pro Gear Slim Northern Lights Purple, which is a Goulet exclusive. Also full bias, but let's be real.
It's hot.
Friggin' gorgeous pen. We love this pen.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like we were like, if we could design a pen that we love and think would be awesome, and also other people would love, what would it look like? We were like, oh, here it is right here, and we'll launch it. And yeah, people friggin' loved it. Yes. And we loved it, and it just all worked out great. So Sailor's come out with so many good pens this year. We were like, how do we not make this the Sailor list, like Sailor hottest pens of the year? We probably could be its own video, but this one, even apart from the Sailor brand, it tops it because it was one of the best pens that we had this year. We followed it up. This was our second exclusive Sailor because last year we did the Stealth Green, which was also really popular. But the Northern Lights, we were able to hit another home run.
And we planned them both around the same time. Yeah. We knew kicking it off that we had these both. We had this cool kind of little understated stealth idea, but then this crazy Northern Lights. And we were like, let's do one year. Let's start it off cool, but then the next year, let's go friggin' nuts and let's really do the one we got super excited about. So here it was.
As soon as that door cracked open, we were like, let's talk exclusives. We were like, we want to do all of the exclusives.
Sparkles.
Here are 1,000 ideas. And they were like, you can slow your roll. Let's just do one pen at a time. We were like, okay, about this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. So we had that one. We also had another exclusive that we snuck in here at the end of the year, the Stealth Purple, to follow up on the Stealth Green. That was also a popular pen, but the Northern Lights was the clear front runner and also launched earlier in the year. So, you know, had a little more time.
So there was a Stealth, a Northern Lights, a Stealth.
You know, I'm not going to say that, you know, the past would predict the future, but, you know, if one was to deduce.
One wonders.
I don't know. Yeah, one could wonder what might happen in the future. But we're talking about the present. Actually, the past. Also the present? What are we even talking about? Well, either way, very popular pen. I'm so honored to have been able to do this. And yeah, Northern Lights Purple tops the list. But y'all probably have some opinions yourself about pens that were hot. Maybe some of the ones we mentioned here. Maybe some of the ones that we didn't mention where you're like, guys, what are you doing?
Should they tell us these opinions?
Are your sweaters too tight? Like, maybe you need to be informed. So you can let us know in the comments because we don't know everything. In fact, you could argue there's a lot that we don't know.
I know for a fact my sweater is perfectly fitted, Brian.
Mine might
so
be
I don't want to hear
tight.
that.
I've had quite a few Christmas cookies and chocolates this year, so my sweater's getting tighter as we speak. But either way, we'd love to hear what y'all think. You can check out a good portion of these. We still have some, if you're watching this within a reasonable time frame from the launch. But of course, as the years go by, some of these may not be available anymore. But anyway, go check out these pens and others that we have at gouletpens.com. We hope you all have enjoyed 2022, and we look forward to doing this again next year. See what comes. Thank you so much for watching, and right on.